there. You know, the way to really get some habit, something you want to do, some target, a feeling, addressing an issue with a friend, a relative, something like, you have to feel that emotion. You have to feel that emotion and let it resonate in your actual fiber in your cells to actually have it turn into like to actually have it progress into something, into that desire or any anything going further. So we did this really fun exercise, which I'll share at the end. I'll put it in our notes, and it was creating our own superhero. And it was really kind of fun and corny to stand up, but when you stand up and actually change your posture and change your way of being, things react differently within you, and you get this posture of like, you really start to feel this pronounced presence in yourself. So we created our own little superheroes and we made our own little things, and I had my cape, and you kind of put it out, but it's a reminder that all of this is coming from within you. So any of these desires, any of these things you want to change in yourself, whatever that next stage of our life we're going for, whether it's in our in our jobs, our relationships, our health, our wealth, whatever it is, you have to put on this, you have to kind of put your superhero cape on and believe in yourself that you can do it. You can't just kind of say, oh yeah, I have this idea and I'm going to go do this. There are actions, there are steps, there are ways to get within this being to bring you there. Having internet issues.
Well, that sounds like what I need help with.
You know, it's not just you, Laura. We all need help. We could be the most high level. So like I said in my email, I had a really good time this summer taking lots of like workshops and different classes and learnings, and I invested in my own self. So the best thing you can do is invest in yourself. So I did a lot of investing in my own knowledge, my own health, my own wealth, all of this. And almost every one of them was for a different aspect of my life. But the core belief, the core in like teachings were all about putting this in yourself, like putting this into you and create that inner feeling to create the momentum to do what you want to do. So first, as we can go back to stage one, first you have to know, what is it you're trying to do? What are you trying to do next? Whatever it is. And I'm going to bring in this next session as we end the summer, we're going to go into like kind of cleansing out that heat and that pitta, but we're going to learn intermittent fasting the right way per dosha for us women and our hormones, but for this aging process, because this group right here just happens to be all in that range right now. This is a perfect core group. So as we start to turn that little bit of a corner, you think, oh, you know, back in the day, things were at 60, you were starting to get in, like, think of your parents when you were younger, when they were 60, they were already like in retirement, hanging out, like that was their last phase of life. If you look at the potential now.
It sounds so horrible when you say that.
Right? But for us, I mean, right now we're in that stage. We're technically in like that third stage. We're no longer in that last stage. We're in that like wisdom and use and like kick charge this end, because technically it's really easy, especially for this group, to live to 100. That's 40 more years. That's a lot of time.
That is a lot of time.
Live to 110, which is so doable now.
I have living to 100.
I mean, I really believe I'm going to be here close to 110. I really physically do. I will, and I'm not. But why? Because I believe, and as we're going to get into this whole intermittent fasting, why it's imperative, all the way back to, so that brought me to my Ayurvedic notes this afternoon. 7,000 years ago, they believed in fasting, and why, and for what uses, how often, how infrequent, depending on your dosha or your time of life. it was all part of this aging process. So now we're only in, say, that 60-ish somewhere. And how do we want to live the next 40 or 50 years? Do we want to be in a decline, be on every pharmaceutical out there? Are we in comorbidity? Like, are we on this track of, okay, this medication's next, and let's just add another thing? No, that's not how we're meant to do. We are meant, our bodies are designed to continue this way. Not up to here, we're 60, here we go. That's not it. And I had someone ask a question on the call, the lunch break call. So I did a recording after that because it sparked some things. So we're through life, and especially through our parents and how they had to go through and learn things. And we are so blessed because Marie and I were talking about this on our call the other day. So here's your problem. And in our parents' day and how we were taught to believe their way of thinking, you've got to go down the cavern. You've got to picture it, chisel out. How do I get there? What do I need to learn? What do I have to do? Okay, now I've got a little background. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep leveraging. I'm leveraging. Here's the solution. It could be 10 years later. But we are going to build the bridge because you're going to start learning fast from people who have already been there, done that, perfected it. So we have the ability to, as we're doing, invest in ourselves, learn on the internet, take courses, learn from people who have been there already, done that, faster, better, more productively. So we're going to do the bridge in between. So our aging process is not going to be that long, down to the bottom, back up, here's the solution. So
Deb, I also feel like we have more of a voice at our age than our parents did. So we can accept a lot of what you're saying and what we're learning because we are stronger.
Yes, absolutely. We're more, thank goodness we are in this part because we are empowering our own voices. We're empowering our own communities. And what I'm finding on the little bits of other communities I have, there's a lot of men joining us and backing us up. They're joining in and they're like, yes, this is a community of co-like. So we're really, really fortunate that we have this power and we're in a community that's developing it. And we're learning how to holistically take care of ourselves, our friends, our loved ones. That's why this level 2, whoever is on board or game or has the ability to go into what I'm going to be teaching is that Ayurveda level. And you really start to understand yourself as a pro healer. Like you can assess and go within and learn certain things and go in and kind of fix and modulate and balance yourself before you pick up the phone, because that doctor with the RX and the DX and all those letters after name, they must know more than I do, but they're not listening to our bodies. They're not feeling what we're feeling. Victoria, you said it perfectly last week. Like sometimes you go to the doctor and you're not quite sure, something's wrong. You're not quite sure how to articulate it. But it's inside, I feel it. But if you go within your community or you're a person that has been kind of taking care of yourself and understanding what your norm is. What does your tongue look like in the morning? What are your reflexes like? What do your joints feel like in the morning? How do you wake up in the morning? How is your sleeping pattern? Most people aren't paying attention to this.
Also, what morning is better than the other mornings?
Exactly. So what happened?
Better.
Yes. Why did you have a good night's sleep? Why did you have a horrible night's sleep? What happened prior? So
asking questions.
Yeah. So all of these things are giving us that power to do it. So now as we go forward, we're going to start learning a little bit more in our toolbox. So as we go all the way back to everybody that's kind of been in the beginning, we have this toolbox started and we're just going to keep putting the tools in it. We're going to keep learning. And as we need something, we are going to be really proficient at all those tools in the toolbox. And we're going to use them in the way. So Victoria, you would need a particular tool differently than Colleen would. Like she knows what's going on in her body, her mind, her spirit. Like right now, I'm finding a lot of us are and no disrespect whatsoever, but very almost religiously kind of distant. But spirituality wise, it's beautiful. Like when you connect the beauty of spirit out there, no matter what the religion is, that's really, really important every day. So it could be looking at a tree in the morning and a bird lands on it or a butterfly. That resonates with your spirit. Doesn't have to be you have to go to church and pray the rosary. Whatever your connection to spirit and spirituality is important. And it's really important to kind of do this, some kind of a ritual every day, because it feeds the entire system. It starts making your cells healthy. It starts making everything connect. So as we go a little bit further and further into this, we're going to start looking into, so the intermittent fasting, if you go back, if I could read one little section here, it's not just because it's a repronounced kind of a fad. If you go back into the teachings, way back into the Vedic teachings and all, it was a way of life. And they knew their bodies and their mind and their spirit and their connection with community, family, and the cleansing process, as I think we have all gone through on this, like scientifically and all now, like autophagy and all, 7,000 years ago, that was a thing. Like they knew what it cleansed out, what you needed for a reset, and how even weekly and monthly, it was pretty imperative to do. It was called fasting, but it was different terms. It was for different reasons. Now it's because we're so chronically inflamed, the obesity, mortality rates, COVID going on right now, the stress levels we put ourselves through and what the society and job, all of that adds to, like, intermittent fasting is a beautiful thing right now for everybody to learn to reset their system daily, even though it is kind of a fad-ish thing right now, it's really imperative. So let's go back. So you went through all of this, Maria. So in Ayurveda school, you go through the initial stages of like, what is fasting and detox and what is it for? And there's a practice which you might all be familiar with, Panchakarma. So that's like a full, that's a complete body detox, rejuvenation, and rebuilding process. So Panchakarma is those therapies that kind of bring it all through, but you don't necessarily have to do the entire thing. And especially in the change of seasons, we do the spring detox. So you want to get that winter out and kind of get ready for the spring. You want to detox. But in the summer, we kind of sometimes put a little bit too much on our plate. It's hot. If you're Pitta dosha, you're heated anyway. And our food sometimes, I don't know why, but we love like Mexican hot, spicy food. You love a margarita with it. So all these things are fun and they resonate with summer, but they're Pitta aggravating in if you're doing it a lot, it's more than the norm. Then you've got the heat. Maybe you're working outside, you're exercising outside. So this is all Pitta dosha, which is that heat, that generating, but it affects the liver. The liver holds on to heat and detoxes the body, but also hangs on to anger, frustration, agitation. So this Pitta is being now like amplified. So in the summer, when we start to get to the end of the summer, we want to try to cleanse out this heat before we get into Vata season, which would just turn this, like, figure on a fire taking the billows and starting to go like this, and the fire is going to rev up. If you don't cleanse out that summer heat, that Vata season is going to come in and really wreak havoc on that heat in your body. You have to let it go before we can get into our fall cleanse. So in the primary types of fasting in Ayurveda, so I'm going to read this right from our Ayurveda notes from school. Fasting is an effective way to kindle the digestive fire and burn away accumulated toxins from the body and the mind. So in the summer, we're doing more, we're taking on more. Sometimes we have more family, more parties, like this might be all playing on our mind. And so this is all what needs to kind of be released. It also eliminates gas, makes body light, improves mental clarity, and preserves overall health. Ayurveda favors regular short-term fasting over infrequent long-term fasting. This could entail fasting on the same day each week or setting a few days aside each month for fasting, depending on your constitution and cleansing requirements. According to Ayurveda, abstaining from food or water for extended periods of time depletes the body tissue, leading to doshic imbalances. So people who go into a cleanse and just drink water for days and days without prepping the body or doing the right things, really you start to damage your own tissue and your own systems. So if you were to implement a fasting once a week, very light, it could even be just abstaining from 1 or 2 meals and having a nomad, having 1 meal, or not eating until the afternoon cleansing. So there's many different ways you can do it. And if we kind of sneak in this one thing, say everyone who might be familiar with the bulletproof, that fasting where you can actually add some fats or some MCT oils, prebiotics, things like that to your coffee, that would prolong your fast and keep the ketones, which will keep burning, but giving your brain health at the same time. Or we just do tea, coffee, herbal teas, and water fast with a little bit of salt for your minerals for 8 to 12 hours during the day. But the primary types of fasting in Ayurveda include consuming light foods only. So that would be like you were doing, Maria, the khichdi, or the khichdi cleanse. Consuming fruits, vegetables, and juices only. So many people do that one for a day. They'll just do juices. Abstaining from solid full foods while drinking water or herbal teas. So that's basically just like water because it's just herbal teas and water. So you're just giving yourself a little bit. And then abstaining from both water, food alongside a silent fast. So we did the silent fast in school and I really, really appreciated it. I really loved it. We turned everything off and it was only for 24 hours. And I was in school with a friend of mine and we were actually roommates in the hotel for the weekends when we were in. And she couldn't believe I really wasn't talking to her. And I was like, no, this is beautiful. Phone off, iPad off, computer off, nothing. Just be quiet because we're all afraid to listen to what's going on with nothing. Like we're all afraid to be in silence. You know, as a society, when you're don't open a book, don't open your notepads, just be quiet for a little bit and just listen. It gives people anxiety. Like people are afraid to just sit and do nothing. So it's hard. It's a practice. And you want to like, just say something and you're like, nope, just try to sit. So that part I found was really beautiful and really important. So if I could encourage you to, let's learn the intermittent fasting per dosha. So we're going to go through that. And we're going to try, I think a few of us were trying just even, I think Victoria and Sebastian, we went through last week how some people, it's really hard to not eat for 12 hours. Like that's a hard thing. Then they add 13 and it's great. Then you get up to 16 and that becomes really easy. Really, really easy.
Hey, I just did 19 today.
Excellent. Excellent. That's fantastic. Once a week, 19, you go up to 20. So you can still keep pushing that envelope. But remember, you don't want the body to be stuck in a pattern because once it starts to learn that, oh, I eat, I'm doing an 18-6 or a 24. And so then the body really is resistant. You want that metabolic flexibility. So you want 14, maybe a 16, maybe back to a 14, back up to a 20. Like you want your body to know, I'm not quite sure what's going on here. So I'm going to keep learning how to keep balance. So I'm going to do 16s to cleanse. I'm going to do 20s to really cleanse. You know what? Tomorrow I can go 24 hours and just hydrate. A little bit of salt, maybe a black coffee or tea. But then you know what? On the weekend, I'm going to go right back to a 12. I'm going to have breakfast. Now I'm going to go back to sugar metabolism. I'm going to teach, that's okay. I'm going to use the sugar for fuel. I'm going to store a little bit more fat. I'm going to use it. And then you cut it back again. And then you go right into burning the fat, that pure fuel. You want the brain to activate. So I've been using MCT oil, putting that in, and sometimes putting the ghee in my coffee and blending it in the morning.
What's MCT oil?
It's the medium chain triglycerides. So
Okay.
it actually helps in creating and helping ketosis so that you're burning fat for the brain. So it's activating that brain pathway like immediately. And then there's even a more pure of that coconut train. I think it's a C8 MCT oil, C8, I think it is. So,
Okay.
so it's when you do this in the morning, so you kind of want to fluctuate, but when you do it a little bit longer in the morning, if you have to go to work and think or write or do anything, your brain is on fire. Like you are like just firing away. And when we eat a bunch in the morning and we're trying to digest it, if we have to be like really on and working and producing something, the body's like, all right, are we thinking? Are we digesting? Like, what are we doing here? Let's try to figure this out. So as you're doing this, but then you're feeding it these biohacks, the brain is like, I got you covered. I mean, I go in and my boss is like, shut up. Are you on again? Like, what are you taking? But it just, it that lightness and that clarity. And then the body's like, all right, I had enough. Now I need some fuel and I want some really, really good fats and proteins. Don't give me those carbs yet. I'm not ready for all those carbs and all that sticky stuff. And then at nighttime, it's like, all right, give me a little bit of carbs because I want to sleep really well. I want to have dreams tonight. I want to go into that like really good REM sleeping process. So if we even start to learn what really good foods for our dosha to eat at what times, our body knows exactly what to do and when to do it. And it's so proficient at that level. And then we find if you're trying to lose weight, you lose weight. If you're not trying to lose weight, there's a few other things you do. You have like a little bit more, like make sure you have those 2 meals and a little meal, or there's definite ways to alter this per your needs, which I have tried every one of them since like December. So I put my body through, and then I've actually been kind of keeping my notes on what's gaining weight, what's losing weight, how I'm building muscle. In the last 3 weeks, I just gained like 4 weeks almost. I gained like 2 pounds of muscle on different things, but I'm not losing weight. So it's really, it's for what you need and what you, and us as starting to get to that stage where we need to build more muscle. So we need to lose more of that fat and build more muscle to, as we go through, as we remember, I think this group all remembers the dhatus, each level of tissue builds the next level of tissue. So as we feed the one level of tissue, it goes into feed the next level to build the next level. So to, at our age, to actually create strong bones, we have to burn our fat to create muscle and build more muscle. So we want to eat a little more protein. We want to do a little bit more with our weights, like add a little more weight routine in there, and really eat clean, strong, good fats. Of course, try to eliminate as much of the processed foods, the processed oils, like all those bad things. I know they're really good sometimes. I made peach cobbler this weekend and had ice cream on it. But I did make watermelon ice cream, but I made vegan watermelon ice cream. And then I made peach cobbler with almond crust. So it was pretty damn healthy, but it was amazing. And it was packed with nuts and oil and fat and fruit. And no one knew the difference. Everybody was like, oh, peach cobbler with ice cream. So, they had no idea. They were probably, I mean, in their head, no fat, like no, they ate so much fat and so much protein in this, dessert, but it was so beneficial. They didn't know the difference. They probably woke up feeling better the next day and their brain probably felt better. So there's different body hacks we can do. We have to get out of that mindset of, the 80s and the 90s, like low fat, no, keep the processed sugars out. Yes, but there are certain natural sugars, really good oils and fats, and really clean proteins, like feedlot proteins and things like that are so bad for us. If you're lucky enough to eat organic, grass-fed beef, pork, chicken, eggs, if you can, try to go more for that, because that also just adds vitality to the body and the brain and that spirit connection, especially if you believe in that process of the animal to what you're taking in. So all of this plays into our health, and especially us women aging. Oh, one more biohack too. I tried this, this particular collagen, and I had tried different ones. Like someone will say, oh, try this one, it's the best. Try this one's best. By the way, my own opinion, in like say the last 4 years, the vegan collagen, 0 effect on me. I didn't like them at all. Some people swear by them, but it's, for me, it just had no. And I feel a little bit better in the last 6 weeks taking a different, and it's a full-fledged, collagen, but it's really I think at our age, adding a little bit more in is a plus for our hair, our nails, the skin, our connective tissue, our bones, for everything, because of what we're lacking in our food source. So because the food source, we almost can't depend on the food source anymore. So certain supplements are going to become, I think, going forward, more of the norm, rather than say 10 or 20 years ago, everybody was like, if you eat right, if you do this, you don't need supplements. You don't need to supplement with anything. I'm finding, doing a ton of testing on myself and taking different courses and things, that the availability of nutrients, vitamins, and minerals in our food source, in our soil, in where we're getting, it's not there.
Yeah.
Right. So supplements, I believe, in a certain degree, are really helpful, especially if they're a good source supplement. And
You
another,
reminded me.
yeah, you know what? And I went to work today and was like, darn, I forgot all mine.
Yeah, you
But-
just reminded me too.
Another thing I added in, which is really fantastic, is organic bone broths. If you can make your own. even better.
Yes, yes.
Yes. We were talking
Yes.
about it too last week, like a bully base, even if you don't want to eat
Yes.
meat, all of this. And when you drink it, make it in your sautés or your food. Remember, we were talking last week too, make it a ritual. Like, bone broth is it's not only feeding your soul, but it's literally going in and rebuilding our our
Yes.
bone marrow tissue.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can be a little corny, but no one has to know we're doing it. Like, almost thank yourself and thank the nourishment of the food. Like, when you make yourself something, say you went out to the garden and grabbed it, you could see what I threw into my lunch this afternoon. And then I blessed it with my Reiki, and I did, but you know what? The vibration of that coming into your body, it feeds it on a completely different level. And remember, we spoke of, as you eat something and you're conscious of it and you're thanking yourself for it, it will digest better.
Yes.
Even if you're out with girlfriends and you're having an ice cream sundae and a glass of wine, instead of saying, oh my God, I shouldn't be eating this. This is horrible for me. What am I doing? Say, you know what? My gosh, I'm having so much fun with my girlfriends and my body's so strong. I'm just going to figure out what to do with this. Ease yourself up. Give yourself permission. Go do it, like, every once in a while. Your digestion will be better than beating
And you're
yourself up.
and you're with people that love you. So that
Yes.
helps your body adjust.
Absolutely.
Yes.
100%. And it's proven. It's a proven fact, especially back into Ayurveda. We had this wonderful, our Ayurveda teacher that Maria and I had, and she would just sit there after, and she would, eat, and then we'd say, well, what's the best thing to do after eating, and whatever. And she'd just go like this and put her hands down. Sit for a minute and be thankful. Absolutely right. Like, just let it come in for a second before you jump up and go do something or touch a phone, or just let it go in, and then move around for like 20 minutes. And that's the ultimate. So, all right. So as we go through, as we learn, so I do have handouts. You know what? I actually have an intermittent sheet on my notes that I'm going to incorporate into this. And I also have like a little fasting tip sheet. So I'll give those out. And then this is like our dosha, like what our dosha is. So if anyone, is there any reason why any of this group shouldn't do intermittent fasting, or doesn't want to try it and we'll do like a 10-day. Normally it would be like a 21-day. You kind of take yourself through, and we have these charts, how you feel each day, and you kind of go through, but we can start with 10 days. And you literally do like for 10 days, and you're going to do like 12s, 14s, then up to 16. And then at the end, if everybody's in, we're going to do just that 24-hour silent cleanse, that silent fast. But we're going to do more of that pitta cleanse. So we'll make it over a weekend. So it's already Wednesday. So say this weekend, if you don't have crazy plans, but you can be home, we'll do the ghee. And if anybody has triphala, you can add triphala to your ghee at night, do a cleanse. When you add citrus and particular things to so we have this great body scrub too that we did in school with half of an orange and you make like oatmeal and the squeeze of the orange and a couple different things into for particular, and you actually rub it and you detox your skin with it. So you want the citrus, you want that lightness. And then drinking lime water, coconut, different things like that will help cleanse out the liver and the heat. But at the same time, along with this liver cleanse, we're going to be conscious of really trying not to be angry, be agitated, kind of be that any kind of hate, even if somebody cuts you off on the highway, like be conscious of this anger that's being held, frustration, agitation, that like short-tempered, because it's all held in our liver. So we want to kind of let all of that go and see if we can do this. And that will coincide just with gradually with the 10-day intermittent fasting. You can prolong it if you like. You can really intensify it into that 24-hour silence. And when we come out of it, I guarantee you're going to feel lighter, cleansed, happier. It jumpstarts you into a different mindset towards, because it takes, so the biohacks too, once you start adding these in, and I encourage you to do these, but you don't have to do these. So like first thing in the morning or within that morning, we're going to cold plunge. So we're going to do the showers. And I know it's probably not high on everyone's list, but I guarantee the first day you're going to hate me. First 30 seconds, you're going to hate me. The second day, you might again, but by the third or fourth day, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, because the body starts to learn faster and faster to turn on the thermal dynamics in your body.
You
To
do
warm
this
you up.
in the morning?
In the morning, I
This is
actually do it morning
shower in
and
the
night.
morning?
I do it morning and night because it's still summer. So I do it in the morning to just like jump. So when you're doing it, especially first thing in the morning, you're telling your body, you're giving the signal, because we're going to hit here and here especially. So you're telling your body, you're telling your mitochondria to jumpstart and push away all those mitochondria and all those energy cells that aren't producing, and they're going to move out of the way because the stronger, better ones are going to surface. And the more you push your body into this level, it starts to get rid of the less energy mitochondria, which is that power part of the cell, on every level of the cell, on every tissue and everything. Especially we're going to hit like the microbiome and in the gut. And we want especially the ones in our cheeks, on our tongue and our nose. And then when we hit here and here, we're hitting the intuition, and we're hitting right here in our, like that thoracic, that energy center. So you want to really hit here and here to resonate, and it sends the messages.
Can you go over that again, but actually tell me what part of the body you're talking about? Because I'm not seeing anything.
Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry. Of course. So I'm hitting the forehead. So I'm hitting like the third eye. And then we're going to hit right on the chest, say like right across your chest bone. So you want the cold water to hit at the same time your chest and your forehead. Put it like that, your chest and your forehead. And then the water will run over you. But the two energy centers right there, you're activating the third eye, and you're also activating the throat chakra, the thoracic, just lost the word. Whoop, right on my mouth. The energy center, like, come on, girls, help me out here. Right in the heart, right in the, okay, we'll just call it the heart center. It'll come to me in a second.
Chakra? No.
It's, no.
Thalamus, like where you're.
Yes, within the thalamus so we got the thyroid and the thalamus. We really, really want to activate those energy centers. And then the messages get sent. But what we're doing is we're kick-starting the mitochondria on a cellular level.
Can you take a hot shower first and then do cold?
Yes, you can. You can. I mean, that's like a normal way to do it. But if you want to really like kick ass because it's harder, you get right into a cold. But all through the winter and on a daily basis, I go in and shower, and I do my warm hot shower, shampoo or clean up, do whatever. And then I go right to freezing cold.
Yeah, I end with cold usually, but I don't usually start with, so
Yeah.
I'll try it. I'll
Okay.
I try.
So it absolutely is harder, but it activates that part of the body which starts to tell the body to regenerate anti-aging, regenerate cell repair, start to activate stem cell repair. You
Really?
want
That's
to,
what this does? Holy
yes, you
moly.
want to activate.
Taking cold showers every damn day.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
wow.
So if you, and I mean, even like just Google out there, anyone that is like super selling CEOs of companies, anyone that's like high energy, high activity, trying to say, the first thing they do is either activate with a freezing cold shower, or some get up early enough to do like their little meditation, whatever, but it's at that, those cold, like cryotherapy is just regenerative on like, and the more and more you do it, like the joint pain. So it begins to tell your body, your cells, let's keep getting rid of. So we are intermittent fasting. So we're activating autophagy. So we're cleaning out all those cells to begin with. Now we're telling the mitochondria, all right, you little prissy ones that don't want to be on board, you're out of here. Just the tough ones are going to survive. So you're reactivating all of these systems within the body that are there naturally and should be, but because of mainstream America, we've almost turned off all this natural ability we have within us to continue this aging process in this perfect way. We've turned all these symptoms up. We're eating too frequently. We're eating like all through, as we were told as athletes, especially every 2 hours, keep your, blood sugar high. We were self-sabotaging unless we are in the middle of high intensity, workouts. Say we're like a pro athlete. Yes, you can burn so much that you can eat more. We're going to dinners at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night when our body is trying to completely have gotten all that stuff over with and start its cleansing. The lymphatic system, as now they actually can measure and see it activated. For years, it wasn't even activated because nobody was giving the brain that time of cleanse. The new fun thing was to like go to dinner at, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Well, you can't live in New York City. Tell you that much.
Exactly. Exactly.
Debbie, that's interesting that you
There's
said it,
lots
'cause
of cultures that have that, especially
Right.
Yes.
European cultures.
Yes. But a lot of them, if you look, they've kind of adjusted the clock a little. They only drink their coffees until noontime. A lot of them, some of them, but they're up till they eat at like, 9, 10 or midnight, but they're out dancing till 3, 4 in the morning. So they kind of are, but they're still not cleansing. It's still not activating, but
That's true. They
But I
generally
had-
don't eat and then go right to bed.
exactly. Maria, what were you gonna?
oh, no, I'm sorry. I was going to say, I was talking to someone about this specific thing the other day about, well, she said, well, Europeans, eat late. I'm like, well, you're not European.
And
it's like,
Latins also eat late.
Yeah.
They usually have a salad, like a light meal at the end, I thought.
It's called tea.
Heavy. Yeah.
And Europeans don't stuff themselves like Americans do with
Yeah,
food.
true.
And to your point, that they do, they eat lighter. And if you're born into a culture where that's what you do your whole life, your body's adjusted to that. So it's a little bit different. But then people try to do it here. And to Debbie's point, they become completely toxic, bloated, and that's why they have all these digestive issues. But it's an interesting concept. I mean, I could never eat that late. It would kill me, I think.
I mean, every single time we do it, Kevin and I come home, we both say, I'm never going to sleep tonight.
Right.
Or
That's
you-
right.
You get
That's
up the
right.
next morning and you're like, I couldn't sleep one bit last night.
It's true though. It's
And
true.
people are eating steaks at like 9, 10 o'clock at night. Like, how do you go right from there to, and alcohol? So all that combination, you had a great time and you ate too much and you drank too much. And then you try to go to sleep. The body's like, what? How? Well, you could pass out, but you're going to wake up.
I mean,
At
clearly.
3. You're gonna wake up at 3.
Yeah. I mean, and
I
every
mean,
once
that's
in a
okay.
while,
Once in a wee while.
every once in a while you do it and you have so much fun. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like,
But
that's the enjoyable. That's like holiday. You just met all your friends and like, who the hell cares? That's all. And you should do that. And
Yeah.
you should. And actually, if you don't do it all the time, that again is testing your body. But if you have the tools, so then what do you do the next day? you open your toolbox and you take out, I'm only having coffee or tea until 12 or 1 in the afternoon. I'm going to let my body figure out what it just did with all of that from last night. Or you can implement, say you have just a really, really tonic ginger, green juice, whatever, at, say, I would wait till at least 11 in the morning. Like, give your body that, just water, hot water, if you can tolerate hot water, and then introduce some kind of a cleanse tonic, or just black coffee, black tea, matcha. Like, let that body have so much fun figuring out what you did last night, but let it get in and process and get out. But a lot of times, if you've eaten all those bad things, what's the first thing that happens in the morning? A, you're hungry. B, you're craving more of the same stuff. So, exactly. And you have a headache. But if you were to know that if you got up the next morning and you put a tiny bit of ghee or grass-fed butter in your coffee, and you added that, just that fat into the caffeine, A, the caffeine gets prolonged. It's not hit like, a thing of just coffee or an espresso. It's a prolonged caffeine release, and that fat is feeding your brain to slowly be like, all right, I can handle this. I'm going to detox this. So there's these great biohacks.
What about instead of doing ghee, just do the MCT oil?
Absolutely. Yep. MCT oil is fantastic.
What do you mean by
Well, yeah.
prolonged caffeine release?
When you add a tiny bit of grass-fed butter or ghee. So original,
I
that was
love ghee.
years ago, yak butter tea was for the gentleman that went up all the way up into the sages and all went up into, not the sages, the Sherpas and all went up into the Himalayas and all, but for hours or the entire 24 hours, they would only survive on their yak butter tea. So it was the butter in this tea, and it gave them prolonged energy, clarity, vitality of the body, and at those altitudes until they returned down to eat in their villages. And so things like that, now we're able to, in this modern solution, add the grass-fed butter or ghee to matcha, green tea, black tea, or black coffee. And then when
But
you get
it
the tea oil,
extends the caffeine without making you.
Yes, there's no,
drink
like,
more coffee and
onslaught
not
of
get tired and.
exactly.
so
But
it's not like,
one key factor, it has to be blended. So I take mine and I put it into a mason jar just because it's easy. And then I take that, the handheld immersion blender, and I put it in that, and then I blend it. So you have to blend the coffee. The coffee itself has to be blended with the fat so that it absorbs some of that water. So even the hydration part of it gets prolonged in your system. So it's a whole biohack. So this is like one of the,
So again, Debbie, it's okay you get the same result if you use like an MCT
yes,
oil or powder.
yes. The grass-fed butter or the ghee just last a little bit longer. So say, Laura, you're really trying to lose weight and you only are committing now to doing an OMAD one day or 2 meals on another day. So say the best solution for you like dinner, you would prefer to skip breakfast. So you would do a little bit of the oil or black coffee. So, because sometimes you wake up in the morning and you are not hungry at all. You don't even need any of the hacks. You just want a black coffee. So you do your black coffee. So, but then say by 11 in the morning or something, you're really not hungry, but you want a little bit something to sustain that energy a little bit longer. Then you could add a little bit of the MCT oil and or the grass-fed butter and blend it. And that will carry you a couple more hours. So then you could have your lunch and your dinner, small portions, because the other energy carried you through and the fat is sustaining. And the most important part is you're burning fat because you're in ketosis. You want to stay in ketosis to burn your own fat as energy. As you give it protein, carbs, sugars, that's your fuel source. And you're trying not to do that. You're trying to start going in and cleanse your own tissue. So you want it to start going, all right, it's not feeding me anything. Damn it. I'm going to have to go to another fuel source. I'm going to start going within. I'm going to start pulling my own fat source, getting rid of, and you're tapping into autophagy if you've hit 16 hours. So as you get to 16 hours, 18 hours, now you're cleansing out the dead cells. Now you're regenerating stem cells. So as you prolong it, you're not only cleansing, you're beginning regeneration of your own really good, vibrant cells.
Okay.
So again, that's why it's so important for us to learn this and learn it the right way, especially for us women in our hormones. If you start to feel dizzy at a certain point, if you feel like you've done a little bit too much, it's so easy. Just come back in and eat something really good and healthy. Don't push yourself to where you're doing damage. Like that's where we begin to that inner, like, so I can do it one way, Victoria can do it another way, but Sebastian, it might be wrong for you. So start listening to yourselves, write a journal. So within the 10 days, I find whatever journal we've been using for our notes and put in the 10 days, and I'll send you like the quick little tip sheets. And then there's a fun one, and it has I love the one I did last year with Dave Asprey, and he had ours, I think it was 14 or 21 days. And you had these sheets, and there were smiley faces and sad faces. And for every morning, it was like, how did you wake up? Or how was the afternoon? Or so it was really simple to follow, but you keep this journal going. And if you really feel like, oh, we're on a 16-8 or something, but I feel horrible today, then it's not right for you today. Then you're going to eat a little bit more to get your body going, because you don't want to have adverse effects on all the positive that we're doing. So if your hormones are, say all of a sudden you're like, I was sleeping beautifully, now I'm not sleeping. Then at night, you might have to add a little bit more. Maybe you need a little bit of MCT oil before bed. Like there's certain things we can do, but you want to increase sleep. You want to wake up feeling better. You want your day to be feeling more vibrant and that clarity, and you feel light. You're going to start feeling that lightness. You don't want to feel adverse unless you can feel in a good way. Say you did a little bit of workout and you're feeling benefit from it, but it felt hard, like that shower felt hard, or we're not going to push in hard workouts, but we're going to do a little bit, say just a little bit of things. And you're like, oh, I feel that. That's a positive stressor on the body. The cold plunge, the breath work. Like if you want to do some Wim Hof breathing to start your morning, those are
And
positive stressors.
some adversity brings on positive.
Yes. And good
Yeah.
stressors bring on the
Yes.
positive. Negative
Yes.
stressors, detract from the body.
Right. Not so much.
Exactly. So that's where we get into. So on the agenda, as we went through the how and why and all we're doing, that subtle body awareness, I really want you to tap into what is your own subtle body awareness as we go through these 10 days. What are you feeling? Like, I'm that crazy person that if I'm doing it the right way, I wake up feeling like that little, my mother used to call me a happy little moron. Like I was just like if I had good sleep and I had like good relationships and good food or whatever, I was happy. Like, so you want to start to experience that you're feeling good in the morning, vibrant in the morning, or when you go to bed at night, you're feeling like kind of calm and peaceful, and you're turning those cell phones and everything off at a certain time. And, at least an hour before, and everybody get blue blockers. If you can put on like all of this stuff that's distracting from us, we're going to turn them off earlier. Like all these things seem like they're this hard list of things to do, but I'm going to try to get us back to this is a way of life that's normal. This is what is.
Well, look, suppose that, and this is not suppose. It doesn't matter whether I am watching TV or working on my cell phone or scrolling, doing whatever. As soon as I lay down and turn off the light, I'm asleep within like 10 minutes.
That's fantastic.
So,
and there are
Oh
two
my
different
God.
people.
If that's the case, then there's no reason that I need to, turn everything off an hour before bed, right? The whole purpose of
Well,
what
the
you're saying
purpose,
is
yes, but the
to get
purpose
yourself
is
to go to sleep, but I can do that.
no, it's more than that too. It's more of a ritual of setting your circadian rhythm up, because it's not only the ability to sleep, it's that circadian rhythm, what's going on in your body in tune with the day. So any of these screens is giving the rhythms in our body, the activation that it's still kind of daylight out, that things are still, so within our serotonin, our cortisol, our melatonin, like all of these like major hormone sets in our body, are set by the clock outside, like the sun, the moon, so if it's still daylight outside in, down in South Carolina, North Carolina, and you're out there, your circadian rhythm is still okay. It's when we come in the dark, especially in the winter, and it's like 5 o'clock in the winter, remember that the body wants to kind of calm down, but 9, 10 o'clock at night, we're still watching full screen TV and there's lights on in the house, and that's disturbing our natural rhythms in our body. So it's not only that you're beautiful enough to be able to just hit the hay and go to sleep, it's that ritual of learning to turn the body inward and downward at night.
Well, doesn't it also affect your, like, not just your, like you're talking about your rhythm, but I think it also affects like how much deep sleep you get versus,
Yes.
because I also fall asleep very well, but I don't always wake up like alert. So, I can fall asleep very easily, but I'm a very light sleeper, and I just think it also affects those other things, but I don't know.
I'm curious, when you fall asleep like that, because I'm struggling with sleep right now, do you wake up in the middle of the night and then wake back up?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Well, I'll only wake up if there's a noise, like if the dog barks or something disturbs me, but otherwise I'll sleep through.
Okay, because I am like sleeping, like going to sleep, no worries, 3 o'clock a.m. Woo, it's party time.
Yeah.
What is your
Great job.
what is your routine at night, and that what are certain things that you eat before bed? Like what is your last meal of the day, or because a lot of time,
Honestly, Deb, I'm not eating dinner right now.
okay, sometimes you have a little bit of sweet potato, believe it or not, white rice is actually less inflammatory than brown rice, like a little bit of white rice, something like that, with a little bit of bone broth or something,
Yeah.
say 5 or 6 o'clock at night, it gives the body a different chemical makeup that actually will help you have that better sleep. Sometimes if the body is in need of some, if we've had too many, say sugars or carbs or something, then the body will definitely wake up and not get into that deep REM sleep or something.
I don't know. It's been recent, but that's why when I asked Sebastian, I was like, God, I'd like to, I'm going to sleep, but where's 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah. And you've been traveling a lot too. That interrupts like the pattern. That's a vata imbalance, traveling. So within the traveling, if you have to kind of like reset yourself to where you are then, and kind of ground yourself to where you are now.
True. Thank you.
Teas, chamomile tea, like a really good, like the actual full flower chamomile tea, things like that at night before you go to bed.
Yeah.
Very
No, I don't do that. I'm usually a water with lemon person, but
a little bit of chamomile tea is beautiful at night. And the one I used to drink, I used to love the flavor of it. And then I would add some of my own chamomile flowers, the yogi teas, the bedtime.
yeah.
That's a beautiful blend.
Cool.
So we went through so the eating cycles. So I'm going to send to us the doshas, the intermittent fasting, like the little sheet. I will send out, send one sheet of, you know what I'm gonna do? I'll make it easy. I'm gonna take one sheet of the Dave Asprey that I did, if I can find it, and I'll just send one copy, and then you can make copies of them on your computer and kind of do them. And it's really kind of cute. You just, as we go through them, I'll send a recording. We're going to do, say, we'll start off with a 12 and then 13, and then go right into a 14, then skip right to 16, and then maybe an 18, and then throw in another 14 on the weekend, have breakfast. Like we're going to metabolically switch it up a little bit.
Well, I've been there, done that. I've been doing it for a year. So
Yeah.
it's just my routine.
Right. But you need to like then set in. So, but I think you've been, because of your work schedule, set on like that 16 or the 14s. And so the body, you want to interrupt that a little. You want to throw in a 12. It's kind of hard after you're doing it too.
Well,
Say
on weekends, I follow it less.
Yeah, good.
I'm not that, I don't do it on weekends as severely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So we'll kind of jump it up a little bit, and then as we get to the end, we'll throw in a 20, And then we'll see who physically and is okay on that last day or so, doing the 24 and adding in like that silent. See if we can do the silence in there.
That'd be cool. I like that.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so beautiful. And the liver cleanse, I'm gonna send, there's a liver tea. We can do a nice simple detox tea. And I really loved I have it in my Ayurveda notes from class. I'll send you what we did. It's really this paste. You make this quick, easy paste. And then you literally take you can use a grapefruit or an orange, but get a big orange. You cut it in half, and the one half is squeezed in as your citric acid, as your kind of your liquid in. I added a little more to mine this last time I did it. I did full fat yogurt, an oil, oatmeal, but I ground up the oatmeal a little bit, and I had made almond milk. So I took my almond pulp, I put that in it as well. And then I added the citrus into it. And I think it was the orange, and squeeze it, make this great paste. And you take the orange, the other half of the orange that you have, and you put the paste on it, and you rub it on your body, and you leave it on for about 10 minutes, and then you shower it off. So, but I probably walked around more last time for like a half hour and let it get, it's all crusty on your body, but all of those ingredients along with the citrus, and then you can drink the lime and the coconut water throughout, a little bit before and a little bit after. And that cools the liver and it cleanses out the liver after, if we'll do the detox tea within there. And that will really, we're gonna do that at the end, and that will really get that liver. But if you're conscious too of trying not to, in traffic, like honk your horn, or aggravated someone at work, or someone, does something and you're like, oh, try to let it go. Like, start the morning off with an intention. If you, has anyone ever done any of the Tony Robbins teachings or any of his courses or anything? He has what he calls his priming, and he does it every single morning. He's probably friends with Iceman, with Wim Hof, but he forever has been doing ice cold bath in the morning. So I'm sure he's got his own cryotherapy, or at least an ice tank in every one of his houses. But he's funny as hell. And that guy has come from zero, but he does this priming in the morning. So he says every single morning, and it's super, super simple. You wake up and you do three things that you are, well, first you do your three things that you're kind of grateful for. And then three things, first it's a minute on each, three things that you're grateful for, three things that you want to accomplish. So it's like 3 minutes and then 3 minutes, and then 3 minutes on reflection of things that have not served you that you're going to let go of. So it's really, he just sits there and he primes his brain for the day, and say he was aggravated or agitated or something that wasn't quite it, he just lets it go. So these three priming things, I can add those into the notes too. It's easier if we kind of see them, but things like that takes 10 minutes, and you could jump in a cold shower and you're just jump starting your system for the day. So the whole thing can take 15 minutes. And every one of our showers probably take at least 15 or 20 minutes by the time we do. So it's just to add elements to this. So I am going to, if I can find my pen, I will send us out. I'm going to find the little journal, the little sheet. I'm going to send the intermittent fasting tip sheet, the dosha for dosha. I think we're all kind of aware of our dosha. The only would really be an extreme vata imbalance. I would be worried, because this faster we're doing is really not, going to be harmful to any dosha, unless someone that is in a super vata imbalance at the time. You don't want to encourage weight loss. You don't want to encourage any agitation on the body, because that vata is very light, worried, anxious, airy. So if anybody is in that stage right now where high anxiety, something's going on, you probably don't want to engage in this. But if you're just fueled, figuring things out in life, going to work, dealing with things or whatever, this is the perfect time to initiate something like this. Health issues or whatever, we want to cleanse this stuff out. We want to kind of jumpstart, and then we're going to get rid of that summer heat. So we'll do the tip sheet, the dosha, even though we probably don't really need to do it.
I am ready to get rid of summer heat, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, down there, I'm sure.
Sure.
Okay, liver cleanse, and then we're gonna do not only the liver cleanse, but the citrus bath and the silence. And then we're gonna do the 12 to the 24 hour. And did we all agree on 10 days?
Anything.
10 days, good? Okay.
Well, I think the thing is, I cannot be silent during the week because my
No.
job requires me to talk.
At all of us, yeah. So no, it would definitely be
Yeah.
a weekend. We'll
Okay.
definitely, we'll put that on the weekend. So we'll do, which would probably work out perfectly to be the next, because 10 days would bring us if we start. Okay. I will organize this. I'm going to resend the agenda and I'll just add those links and things in right on the notes. So I'll resend that out with links to this. So it's going to be very, it's fun. It jump starts, but the fast, you're going to be aware of any aggravation, agitation, any pittas, or anyone that that wants to join in this and kind of cleanse some things out. By all means, bring them in and see everybody else that we can help right now would be amazing. And any questions, anything we missed or skipped over or that you'd like to know about? Subtle body awareness, that's crucial through this. Really listen to your body, listen to yourself. And we're giving ourselves this gift of cleansing and regenerating. We're really going to rejuvenate our anti-aging process here.
So what I got to say, though, is that it's going to be hot here for another 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the end of summer and beginning of fall.
Yes, but you can do this again. You can do it again next month. You can cleanse out the liver.
Oh boy.
See that?
I said, oh boy.
You can do a liver cleanse though very easily, even just in 2 days. You can just do a 2-day quick, because you're trying to get
That's what
the
I
heat out.
Can you
Yeah,
send
you're
the
trying to
tip
release
for
the heat.
2-day? Can you do the 2-day tip?
Oh yeah, yep,
Yeah, I mean, just, honestly, that would
absolutely.
be very helpful.
So what the 2-day basically too would be getting that Agni fired up and ready to go in a positive way, and then releasing it. And then the benefit of the liver and the heat, all of that kind of goes with it. And even in the summer, how we're so in tune to doing hard workouts and all that all the time. If you were really to follow like an Ayurvedic mindset or an Eastern philosophy mindset in the heat of the summer, they don't do that. They do cooling poses. They do restorative poses. They do things that actually are addressing the heat of the body in the summer, and they don't do things in the heat of the afternoon and stuff. So it's really proactive and kind of beautiful to follow the seasons within, especially that where pretty much we have 4 seasons, all of us, 3 seasons in Ayurveda. All right,
I
ladies.
like the 3 seasons.
Yes. 3 seasons: Pitta, Vata, and Kapha. Although I'm not ready for Kapha season here yet. I might go find a Pitta season somewhere.
Okay, I hear you.
All right, ladies, any questions? Any questions on any of the even intermittent fasting whatsoever? Any biohacks? Is everybody kind of familiar with, or are you comfortable adding anything to your tea or coffee? Or again, you can switch it by just having a little bit longer, prolonged, not eating in the morning, but then having your dinner, or you can have your breakfast and then skip dinner. So it can be turned around, because the earlier you eat, the better. So I think I finished eating today. I actually ate a little bit later than I normally do on the normal weekdays, it was like 5 o'clock. So, but
Yeah,
some,
I'm still struggling with that. I finished dinner at 8 o'clock tonight while we were on the phone. Yeah.
okay,
I mean, and that's,
yeah,
that's just,
My dog's waiting for me to feed him at 5, and that's when I eat my dinner. So I'm early bird special all the way.
yes. So if there's I know you're still at work, Laura, so maybe you have that late morning breakfast, like late morning if you can, and then a later afternoon
skip it
as your
breakfast.
meal.
I skip breakfast and I have lunch generally between like 12 and 3. And then I'll have dinner around 7:30.
Okay. Try once a week or so, just doing an OMAD, just have that one meal between 12 or 3. And then having maybe a cup of soup or, cold soup, or just a salad then at the earlier evening time if you can.
Gotcha.
Something like, that would definitely benefit. And it starts to get you in a routine sometimes of having that eating window earlier in the day. But it's all trial and error, and it's all, you just keep trying, and what works, and what gives you the best results you find.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to send these, a few
Thank
of the tea recipes.
Thank you.
All right, I gotta jump off. Thank you, Debbie.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
Deb.
Thanks, Deb.
Later,
Thanks.
Bye.
Night.
Bye.